Alright everyone, first off, happy 2019. I know it's been a while, I've just been on break, and a couple of things, I've just been kind of doing a lot of thinking in regards to my next Let's Play. I'm just kind of jumbled up a bit in regards to that. Part of me wants to do Dynasty Warriors 8, whether it be the original on the Xbox 360 or the Extreme Legends for the PS4, but then part of me wants to do either Stellar Glow or Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS. I don't know, I'm just kind of busy. I'm just kind of confused of which game I want to do. Anyways, new semester, new classes, and I'm getting through that alright. So, the first review of the year is because I'm going to be doing it for my TV again, because, as I've stated before, Daily Motion and the Wi-Fi here is starting to make it look like a piece of shit. Anyways, I got my handy dandy remote, Season 5 DVD, Disc 3 with the episode we're about to review are already in, so let's dig into Canterlot Boutique. So this episode starts out obviously the Canterlot Boutique, as Rarity is waiting for a package, but because that has been done before. Anyway, Pinkie Pie comes across and stops by and has been eating a bunch of cupcakes with flavors that are most likely disgusting, and she has the platter with the letter below it. Well, either that or you made the mailman sick. God knows how many days he'd be out, and people would wait for their mail, because of that. And besides, the last time you had really bad cupcakes, it didn't turn out so well. Anyway, Rarity opens up the letter, and it reveals... So yes, Rarity can now open her own boutique in Canterlot. Now, in regards of... Alright. Alright. Sorry, I'm exhausted, because... God, I can't speak tonight. Alright, now, regarding of Rarity's dream of opening a boutique in Canterlot, I mean, I'm not going to knock it down or anything, because that is definitely an amazing goal, but it was kind of hard to pick that up. I know that Lauren Fowles talked about in an interview how she wanted Rarity to open a boutique in Canterlot, but in the show itself, Rarity's dream was kind of a little bit overshadowed as the show went on. I mean, she did make note of how she wanted to open up a shop in Canterlot way back in the series premiere here, and we did get touch of it since Sweet and Elite, but that's been since Season 2. So, anyway, it is a fascinating dream for Rarity to finally achieve, but it kind of hasn't been talked about until this episode. So anyways, they go up to Rarity's new boutique as the rest of the main six get off the train. It's a good thing too, because if Sweetie Belle kept her revenge, she probably would have went into an emotional spiral. So we go inside the new boutique, which is called the Canterlot Boutique. Generic name aside, it's actually pretty e-designed, and to say the least. Oh yeah, and we also already established that obviously the show has a lot of great backgrounds and foregrounds.
It's lovely. Gosh, Rarity, I know hard work when I see it. And it looks like you worked your hooks to the nub.
So, does that mean that Rarity went through the construction all by herself? Well, knowing her, I wouldn't think that would be the case. Hey, so I'm sure she probably hired a couple of people to actually do the job for her.
I don't know. Don't talk so much about me. He wants money. And money.
Definitely hired ponies to do the job for her.
Like my lovely scrubby bucky Penny, I actually have been working very hard. However, I never could have gotten the boutique ready for the grand opening without the help of my new manager, Fatty Shadows.
And as somebody who's taken in managing classes before, it's definitely a very big role. So anyways, we're introduced to Rarity's manager, Sassy Saddles.
Lost my buttons, Rarity. The ponies from Ponyville.
And thankfully, unlike most of the citizens in Canterlot, she's not a snobby know-it-all. Just kind of makes you wonder why her name is Sassy, because when I think of those nicknames Sassy or names Sassy, I think of this.
Everybody knows you came here for chance original. How dare her, brat. She probably listens. She should go somewhere else. P.S. is a spoiled ass brat. She probably listens to suckers. I'm not playing right now. I'm so serious.
Yeah. Because if she was the Sassy from Real Chance of Love Season 2, she would probably say her name in the third person.
I knew I needed a manager for Canterlot Carousel, so when Sassy showed me her resume, and I saw that she worked in all of the finest boutiques in Canterlot, I hired her right on the spot.
It kind of makes you wonder who else was involved.
I then laid out this plan, or pattern, as we say in the fashion biz, for Canterlot Carousel, so that Rarity's boutique will be a guaranteed success, and those doors will never, ever, ever close.
I don't know if that's foreshadowing, but that seems like a pretty strategic plan.
Your attention to detail is truly impressive. I've already put a pin in the first piece of the pattern. Beautify the boutique.
Well, obviously you got people involved for that, so mission accomplished there.
But next was the very crucial pattern piece. Marketing to the mares. Now that every pony here loves royalty.
Or you can basically follow, or in the case of modern times, basically the use of social media. And basically of whatever's trending at the time before it's discarded by the next day.
So, I created a collection that beautifully revolves around the royal element of Canterlot. And it just so happens there's a hot new princess in Equestria.
Who the villain of the last season didn't know about and almost caused about the end of the world. Kind of makes you wonder where Sassy was during all that. So yes, basically Rarity's next collection is based on the designs of the 4 princesses. Actually, that's a lie. It's just the main princesses. His. Minus Cadence. Kind of makes you wonder how they just completely ignore the Crystal Empire. I'm really off today. But yeah.
You were the most popular princess.
Yeah, basically the most popular princess of the 3. As in, just the 3 princesses minus Cadence. Also, fans of the show will say Luna is the best princess, including myself.
Coincidentally, one of my gowns is inspired by the window in Canterlot Castle commemorating your coronation.
Well, I'll give this episode this. It's doing a great job of keeping up with continuity, so points for that. And we do see the dress itself, and it's...
While I've always prided myself on paying attention to detail, I've taken my latest collection to a whole new level with Rarity's rules of TLC. Judging by this baby, TLC stands for Tasty Liquid Candy. TLC stands for Time, Love, and Couture.
Or, which is probably no different than Tender Love and Care.
And while I do miss wearing a gown wish to own that gown for themselves.
Well, then again, that's how celebrity endorsement works.
I call this piece of the pattern celebrity status.
Yes. Yeah, because the people who wear the celebrity... Actually, that's... Ugh. Yeah, even someone who's planning to be a marketing major, I probably need to take some notes of this. And I'm going to get into why in a few moments.
Twilight.
So anyways, Rarity asked Twilight to be the star of her new dress, and just when Rarity's about to open the doors, when...
Welcome to the grand opening of Canterlot Carousel.
So you may have noticed that Sassy decided to take charge even though she's only the manager, not the owner.
Welcome. Oh, that sassy totally stepped on your hoof, Rarity. Oh no! Did she mess up that nice pokey patty?
Yeah, so basically Sassy's become that one jerk in a group project who is supposed to be the manager, but basically takes all the shots and everybody else gets no credit.
Oh, I don't think she meant to. Rarity, are you ready to reveal the collection? Is she sure she doesn't want to do it herself? Yeah.
I smell foreshadowing!
Yes, I am. Fluttershy, could you help Twilight get ready? Oh, certainly. Billy's at...
So Rarity gathers around all the customers and shows off her dress designs as Sassy basically tries to take charge and basically show off. I need other Sassy here.
No, because you don't know her like that. You're just coming on the show as a model. Like, I swear. Let me do my job and you do yours. And don't get smacked in the process.
Yeah. Words of the wise. So as we also come across, I think, Rob Paulson Fashion Pony, Rarity explains the different designs of the different dresses. The first dress is based on the Skyliner from obviously the castle's decor. The second dress is based on the waterfall, and obviously the next two dresses are based on Celestia and Luna. And as I mentioned, no mention of cadence whatsoever. It almost feels like this episode completely disregards the Crystal Empire.
I am smiling like a stained glass window wasting on the window twilight. I call this
Also, face-worthy meme.
the rest insane.
The dress is inspired by the stained glass window of a reigning princess.
Yes. Well, I think the rain in stain is too difficult to explain.
That might be the case to someone like me who doesn't know a thing about fashion, but it's easy to understand on the play-by-play. Again.
Because you don't know her like that. You're just coming on the show as a model. Like, I swear. Let me do my job and you do yours. And don't get smacked in the process.
Because we're getting that close.
Especially signature piece of a collection. But I rather like the berries and...
And because of that, Sassy decides to take charge. Again, it's like that one person who claims it's the manager but basically calls all the shots and not give any of the employees any kind of say. Or that one douche in a group project that basically does that basically takes all the credit by not lifting a finger.
Gentle girls, I, Sassy Saddles, am pleased to introduce the grand finale of...
And we are introduced to the Princess Net. As Twilight does the thing that she did not want to do in the season finale of last season, smile and wave. Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Everybody, please follow me, and you can all place your orders for the princess dress.
So yes. So it's just like I've been saying, because then Sassy decides, without any conversation to Rarity, to place orders for the same dress. There are so many things wrong with that. but I've pretty much already gone to detail of why that's wrong. But it's going to get a whole lot better. Because that's sadly kind of the case in the real world, where sadly at real jobs there are managers that basically do all the talking and the people who do the actual work aren't given any credit. So even though the Canterlot Boutique has been a success, Rarity has to design 100 orders for the same dress.
100 orders? All at one time? According to my pattern, the next piece is the success of the signature dress. So I do not see the problem.
There are kind of problems right there. Like, for starters, if you use a signature dress, if you were to enter that in a fashion contest and see the same thing over and over again, you'd probably be kicked off by the second episode. Because even though it's your signature and you wouldn't want to lose that, if it's something that judges have seen over and over again, they're going to immediately disregard it and want something different. So I don't know what kind of marketing research that came from.
First of all, Sassy Saddles, I would have appreciated getting to name the final gown from my collection myself. My research shows that your brain insane names, because they are words that are both very confusing and quite unappealing.
As I said, it might be difficult, but I can understand it all right. You see where I'm going with this, right?
While I see your point, we should have discussed it prior to the grand opening, Sassy.
Exactly. Because that's also the kind of thing that happens. There are people out there who basically don't even discuss these things between manager and worker, and they just completely, and it almost feels like at last minute thing. Hell, I've actually already gone through that with a couple of projects where it seems like we never discussed anything and it just comes out of nowhere and it feels kind of left field.
My only goal is for Canterlot Carousel to succeed. That's why I changed the name, and that is why I took all those orders for the princess dress. But receiving orders for 100 dresses in one day, it's just too much, too soon.
Also, too much material, too much time consuming, and it would get boring really fast.
Are you actually saying we should cancel these orders?
Celeste, can I borrow you for a second?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. One little problem.
Yes. You know what that problem is? Is people not want... I know it might be the next trendiest thing, but as I said, by the next day, that trend is going to go out really fast. Yes.
What? No, Sassy. So this is what's made, and I shall try my very best to provide each and every pony a princess dress full of TLC.
Yeah. Before they decide to dump it in the garbage by the next day.
Oh, thank you, Rarity. Thank you.
So as the other main six leave, Rarity decides to get to work by doing it by herself.
Oh, satin and silk, Rarity. Are you sure you don't want your friends to help you make the dresses? No, Sassy. These orders are my responsibility.
Plus, the last time you had your friends work on it, you were having a bit of an emotional breakdown episode.
All I have to do is stick to my plan so I can deliver each and every princess dress, keeping with my rules of Rarity.
So we get a song, basically the combination of both Art of the Dress and Unpopular, where it basically shows of Rarity wanting to sell her designs, basically going by her own rules. It is very catchy and nice to look at, but Sassy basically takes control of wanting to do her own plans and forces Rarity to get back to work. even though Rarity is the owner and Sassy is the manager. And proceeds to throw away the other dresses. Do you see where I'm going with this? It makes you wonder how anyone would allow this to happen. Because yeah, a manager shouldn't be doing that kind of thing. It makes you wonder how else anyone managed to hire her. So this is going left by Rarity's plan and only making one dress over and over again and turning into slave labor. And when Rarity does something different for something that she loves to do,
I'll take care of her. You keep working.
definitely slave labor.
Actually, I'd love to see her reaction to this particular dress. Paisley and porcelain Rarity. Look at all the orders you still have to finish. Do you want to take a break? Now?
That's kind of the thing we need to do. You wouldn't want this to be Big Bang Burger now, would you?
Well, it's just, I made some really lovely changes to this dress. Yep.
And plus, you've been working for God knows how long.
Did what? But every princess dress is supposed to be exactly the same.
Which gets boring and stale. Celeste, can I borrow you one more time?
Are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hero? What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
You said I know, but you just spoke to me and it's fine. Go see her reaction.
Yeah, that doesn't sound unpatronizing or contradicting at all, now does it? And of course, the Snoopy Pony doesn't like the reaction.
Minor details. I saw these gems glistening in the light. They just spoke to me. But they're lovely and so unique. They're mine. But they're not what I ordered, are they?
Well, how could they be any different from everything else that you've seen up to this point? How about either be happy with what you got and take the dress, or not come back here at all?
No.
That's what should have been said. And the song gets more dreary as I mentioned, it gets more dictatorial and slave labor-like. To the point where it actually becomes an assembly line. Wow. I gotta admit, this episode does a great job of showing how creators try to do something different and want to try to stand out from others, and then when people don't expect it, they get shit on. I'll give this episode that. Because it's literally the only dress they have. When Rarity finds...
Rarity, you made 200 princess dresses!
And been working non-stop for, I'm assuming, 24 hours without sleep or food. Yeah, definitely slave labor.
Yes, isn't it spectacular? And I have a special surprise for you. The latest issue of Cosmere magazine just hit the stands. Canterlot's newest rising star. And in the hour since the magazine's come out, we've gotten another 100 new orders for the princess dress.
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder why Sassy is taking charge in all this. That means that Rarity would have been making 300 dresses, and I'm going to assume 48 hours without sleep or food.
I made a mistake, but... son of a bitch!
100 more princess dresses? I'm the Crossbear cover pony. I had the most successful shop in Canterlot. I've gotten everything I ever wanted.
But it's not exactly how you thought of it to be. And that's sadly kind of the case, really, where when people do finally achieve their dream of wanting to be big and famous in, like, say, Hollywood, sometimes it doesn't really turn out what it makes it be, because oftentimes, from sadly what I found out from comments on, like, old VH1 reality shows, it's oftentimes mostly the producers who make the decisions 9 times out of 10, and they basically dictate of what people are supposed to say and do. Oh. Where, sadly, it's basically corporate that makes all the rules.
But I'm miserable. Stop making me miserable.
Oh. How could you possibly be miserable?
Wrong! You have to be wrong!
Yeah. Yeah. How can anyone not take that lightly when lives are being disregarded? I know that I'm being lazy and quoting down your Mappa quotes, but it's 11 o'clock at night and I don't feel like losing my voice. So, Taka, if you don't mind.
Everything you just said is wrong! You made it all up!
My passion is perfect. Crossbear cover pony. John, you have your signature gown, the princess dress of success. I don't want to make another 100 princess dresses. I have a piece for that. Assemble the assembly line. You'll never have to sew again.
I can keep explaining this, but the writers are just doing it themselves.
What? No! Yes! Then the Canterlot carousel never closes, and Hasbro Studios Boutique the
Gundam?
Hold on! What did you just say?
Yes. If I recall, she says, Sassy Saddles Boutique.
Don't mess with me! Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
You couldn't have said it better myself. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It basically goes from being manager to be kind of a dictator. In a sense. Basically for their own self-benefit. And Rarity also gets to the point where she finally snaps.
This is not your boutique! This is what success in Canterlot looks like. I want no part of it!
Well, you kind of already saw that in Sweet and Elite, considering that, much like the characters in Atlas from Ruby, a lot of the characters in Canterlot are self-centered pricks.
Now, this is for a going out of business sale. I'm colluding Canterlot carousel! What? No! Oh, you can't, Rarity. I worked too hard to make this a success. I can't be a part of another failed boutique!
Well, that answers my question. From before, or I guess her previous jobs didn't want her because she was a crappy business pony. Well, either that or they didn't really agree with her methods. Kind of makes you wonder. So Rarity removes all the princess dresses and puts in her own dresses, and every one of the ponies start to go after her original designs and not the princess dress that, as I said, would have gone out of style, say, by the next day, if this was real life.
That dress makes me feel like a princess!
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how every Brony fan feels when they're wearing a princess dress at the BronyCon.
This gown is quite beautiful, but it totally clashes with my complexion.
So because of that, Rarity begins to get her inspiration back and remembers her doing what she loves and decides to not close the boutique. And Sassy Saddles decides to apologize for being, well, let's be honest here, a bit of a dictator.
Just on that one dress, and the rest of Rarity's royal regalia paid the price. Well, so did the princess dress. The more I sewed, the more each time, love, and couture becoming terrible, lackluster, and common. I think I finally understand the rules of Rarity and will apply them at my next job. The bigger one. The rules of Rarity are only to be applied at Canterlot Carousel, which is why I must continue to manage the boutique while I'm in Homeville.
Now, I could have so many rants on this, but let's be honest here. Pretty much every pony and human are basically have emotions. Like, they basically want to get that obviously recognition, and they will do whatever they can, but sometimes they'll think back and think, maybe this was a really stupid idea. So, I can't be mad at Sassy for that.
Ponyville? Oh yes, come to Canterlot with new designs and see the customers, of course. But Ponyville was always going to be my home base. Oh, this is fortunes, Rarity. Oh, thank you. And I promise to run everything following your rules.
Promise.
I would expect nothing less.
So yeah, so thankfully Sassy is not all stuck up, and she does learn her lesson, though we don't really see her for a bit until, I think it was either an episode of season 6 or 7, but by then she has learned her lesson.
Oh my gosh, Gabrielle! Do you have that princess thrill? No!
And thus the episode ends with them laughing, and the Canterlot Boutique is successful, and that was, well, title drop. There isn't a whole lot to say, but I think it's a good episode. I mean, let's be honest here. This episode basically hits the mark for most cases. Like, he gives a lot of callbacks to the first 2 seasons, and having Rarity not only achieve her dream, but actually continue to go through with it, even when she goes through a bit of a fallout on it. And obviously I had problems with, pretty much with Sassy, pretty much acting like a whole dictator, but the episode does a good job where, sadly, creativity tends to get squashed out by consumer demands, but it's all well and good generally, and the song is also impressive, and it's really hard to explain how there's a lot to like in this episode. I think, honestly, it just does a really good job of just expressing how just do everything you can to stick to your ideals and try not to give in the pressure of consumer demands. And I think it's also a good lesson for uprising managers to basically learn how to not take charge, just basically oversee the operation and not call all the shots just to get desperate for attention. So I think there the episode succeeds, and I guess probably the only thing that does kind of bother me about this episode is probably how everybody is so easy to get sucked up by the stress and realize, why does everybody else look the same and not ditch it and want something different? And it's honestly hard to describe this episode. I think it's just one of those episodes where if you just turn your brain off, just sit back and enjoy it, it's honestly really good fun, and a lot of the positives I did say do make it a good episode. So I think as a whole, Canterlot Boutique is an A-. Alright, well, I have a lot of stuff to get through tomorrow. I have to go through supply chain, and hopefully my textbook will come in. I have to turn in my first assignment for Intro to Radio, and hopefully that'll be good. And I'll also have to go through strategic partnerships. So this episode also does a good job with that, of how partnerships should work out. Alright, so hopefully I'll hit the hay, and next time I will see you guys in Rarity Investigated. See ya.